You're expected to attend if you can, if you're not sick, if you have an exceptional reason. And please, if you're on Zoom, we don't have anybody on Zoom except Shanine, and she doesn't have to leave her camera on. And we're live on YouTube channel. I hate reading that. It feels like, anyway, we have a huge agenda today. Paul.
Ready for me?
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody.
He's the first of two events.
So I have just some information from the agency. So we're very proud that yesterday we had another of our job fairs, and this was not just the Parks Department event, but it was really a multi-city agency participant job fair. 4,000 people registered, 900 attended. It was very, very well received. The agencies included NYPD, corrections, and a whole slate of other city agencies. It was really a very, very nice event. And actually, we're hearing that other boroughs are reaching out to us to get some guidance on how to, to replicate them in the borough. So it's really a very, very good thing we're providing for the city. I wanted to give you an update on something that I know that is very important to this district and also to District 5, which is needles. And I want you to know that we are making a lot of progress. All of our permanent staff are now certified bloodborne pathogen removers. They receive, regular training throughout the year to get certified. I got a little sticker this year that says I had my training this year. But then you should know that we have a lot of all the requisite protective equipment, tongs and the sharps containers, rubber gloves, masks, all those things that are needed to do this effectively. Now, I think in a previous meeting or meetings, I've reported that our numbers have been relatively low, attributed largely to the winter weather. We did have, I think it was one needle during the month of February for Chelsea. And I was concerned about those numbers being low, but the staff is, they are looking, and so they found one needle. That's consistent with what was found in Madison Square Park for the period. But one of the things that I did find out was that one park that we kind of overlooked, Bella Abzug, that is one of the few community partner managed, I hate to say conservancy all the time, but community partner managed properties in District 4. They report roughly 200 needles a week that they find. That's due because they also have some encampment issues at that location. So, but this also informed me that I have to do a better job of reaching out to our community partners, especially in District 5, for example. Bryant, Madison reports to me, but also looking at Harold and Greeley to see how many needles they're actually collecting, whether they get them, whether their staff collects them, or whether another entity collects them to get a clearer measure of what the needle count is for my sector. So we know that Bella Abzug has a lot. I'll be working with them a little more closely to get a more accurate picture. And we also know that the number tends to fluctuate in some of our other parks, time of the year, time of the day, with the weather. But it's very clear. I know the agency takes it very, very seriously, but it's also very, very clear from this number that we have to be very, very diligent in capturing this information. So I wanted you to know that. Other good news, capital improvements. We're always looking to improve our parks. I know that, let's see, there have been a number of requests that have gone in as part of the budget submission. I'm not supposed to tell you which ones they are, but what I can tell you is that we are working with DOT for the sidewalk repair at Gutenberg Playground.
Wow, that's been on for like 20 years.
Yes, well, this is the thing. So that one I think is once again, it's also, that one's not signed, sealed, and delivered, but I think we're going to be successful with that one because DOT's been very responsive to the sidewalks that I have recommended for improvement. And this represents the last sidewalk in District 4 that really has needed to have some work done. So all the other parts that are on East Gutenberg, I am cautiously optimistic that that one's gonna be repaired, this season, because then you all know how bad, so that's that. Okay, my final point is on the controversial issue of solar lights, solar park lights. I'm actually happy to report that the agency is indeed experimenting with solar lights.
When you say the agency, DOT,
Parks.
oh, Parks is.
Well, that's very interesting question that you asked. I'm gonna say the agency, because we have to figure out how we would do this. When I spoke to Steve Simon about this, he mentioned that solar lights, as you might imagine them, are not really part of the portfolio that DOT offers. So if we were to use, incorporate these, we would be responsible for them. So that's a consideration. The other consideration comes from capital. They say that, tree canopy is also a consideration, whether or not these become very, very feasible. So what Steve says is there are roughly about 12 located at Pier 42, a property. It's not in this district. I don't even know what that is. Actually, I know that it's down by Sarah Roosevelt in that area. It's right down by East River. But they're along a pathway, and the agency is, for lack of a better term, experimenting to see how feasible it might be at some time in the future. So we're not in the Stone Age. We are definitely crawling out of there. So, but I wanted to offer that positive bit of information.
I'd be happy to hear how that goes. I think we'd be happy to hear how
Yes.
it goes.
I think that I'm gonna, just out of curiosity, find out where they are and just see what they look like. It's
I mean, I understand the tree canopy thing. If the trees are open lamps, they're not gonna get the sun. And there are those in the room, myself probably included, who don't want to see the trees knocked down for a lamp. That said, there are also places where there's no tree canopy, and that would be good to have them. And he's not here, but
He's online.
we have a vocal, is he online?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Brad. We have a vocal participant who's very good at reminding us about solar lights. So, yeah, we'd love to hear more.
I'll do my best to bring the information.
Thank you.
And question.
Question, yes. When you say solar lights, do you also mean battery storage for when there is rain or shade so that you can run them?
No, so I don't know any of those details. So that's information to come. I don't know.
Typically, the answer to that is yes, but asking a specific question is needed.
It's an additional expense.
It's usually part of the installation though, the solar light. After all, when the light goes on, there's no sun. You don't need the light when there's no sun, so there has to be that. My guess.
We'll find out.
Question about Matthews Palmer. Has there been any progress with the co-op next door and dealing with the repairs?
I will get I'll get you the latest
problem.
update. No, because
But the interim patches were done, the hoops are up, so it's usable. It just needs its final improvement.
no, I have to be reminded that spring is now here.
Yes.
The weather is changing, so now we have to get back on track with that. Yes. At least part of it.
I have a question.
Yes.
You talked about the fair, the job fair,
Yes.
and you were gonna check in fact, any PEPs hires or the change in the PEPs hours, remember, like for the job fair? I know it rolled into all the other
You know what else?
jobs that.
What I'll do, is I'll ask about specific titles. I didn't really ask about titles, I asked about numbers. It was mentioned at our staff meeting yesterday.
Okay.
Not actually, our meeting was this morning. It was mentioned at the meeting this morning, but they didn't mention specific titles. They talked about some of the diversity of agencies. I'll ask about our titles. My experience has been that PEP has been one of the titles that's been offered. but I will ask specifically about this time.
Yeah, if there were more hires, I know we were asking for that. Both in the letter and also our budget asks in a few ways. And the other thing was, I think you mentioned, you said you were hiring, last time, second shift people for cleanup.
Yes.
What is the update on that? You're gonna follow up?
So now, okay, so people have been interviewed, and now they're going to be assigned. I don't know where they're going. I don't know if I'm gonna be getting any. I know that because technically my second shift comes out of District 5, and District 5 is fully staffed. So I don't know where they're going to be assigned. But what I will tell you is appointments are imminent. I took part in the interview process. Some very, very good candidates, people with a great diversity of transferable experience, and a lot of people with, and I was very pleased by this, associate degrees, because that also speaks well, ultimately, and being willing to lead the agency as opposed to not having that kind of educational background, having to catch up. So, do you want to know how many are coming on, or what?
If you know how many for our district, I know you were, anything you know that can affect our part,
Any hires?
And I think my last, perhaps my last was you're near back, the moving of the bike rack at McCaffrey.
Yes, so there is a work order pending.
Okay.
There's a work order pending, that's gonna happen, and I want that, and I want that to happen before the weather fully breaks. The last time I was over there, which was, no, I guess it was, I've had the flu this week, I've been sick this week with the cold everybody has. So the last time I believe I was there was either last Thursday or last Friday, there was one abandoned bicycle on it. So, and then obviously that's a function of the weather, the guys aren't there, so they're putting their bikes there. Although that's not entirely true. The other racks were being used, but that one was, surprisingly empty.
The one right in front of the gate.
The one that's attached to the gate. So there was a work order in for that to be moved. It should be moved shortly. I told them to please call me when they're gonna move it, because if that other bike, that abandoned bike is still on it, I wanna be there when
Take it out, right?
when they deal with it.
Yeah.
So, yes. So that's coming on.
So work order pending, great. Okay, that's all for me. Oh, really?
Follow-up question to your question, about the hires. You said the second shift for the maintenance people. What about pep officers handling the second shift so that they close the parks as opposed to maintenance people?
Well,
It's something we've discussed before.
I understand. I know the first iteration of that question was having PEP, right side saddle, as it were, shotgun with the. I haven't got an answer for, well, there's a two-pronged question. Were PEP hired second shift, and therefore would they be able to do the lockup? That's one question.
As opposed to maintenance.
As opposed to maintenance workers. Well, I will just say this. My experience has been that open up and lock up is an MMO task. I mean, we do that. And as I think I mentioned the last time in the meeting before, the problem with lockup with those belligerent groups that don't want to leave, I believe that my observation is that it's seasonal. It's seasonal in some respect. It's also at some locations rather than others. And so in some respect, it's maybe better just to solve that problem on a case-by-case basis. So sometimes, we have trouble with unruly kids over at Gertrude Kelly. NYPD, will periodically be with us to help us lock up that playground. And that's something that they have traditionally wanted to do because it was an anti-gang, anti-violence intervention. In other locations, it may just be, it's a warm summer night and people are rowdy, they don't want to go home, so they're just acting up that way. Or one of the cases I remember from my early years was just the basketballers didn't want to leave. So it's a little bit different, from district to district and park to park. So and I had that to say, pepper not armed. I mean, they have a billy club and they can give a ticket, but they're, you know, it may not always be the solution that it might appear to be. It might be easier to use the solution that we already have in place, which is to address it on a case-by-case basis. Well, I will get the answer about hiring for other titles that may have come out of this job fair, because that's something that's feeling unbalanced.
Would it be helpful to try to forge some kind of communication between Midtown North Precinct and Parks? You know, is Midtown South still handling the closing of McCaffrey?
Well, it's
Their officers?
well, they're the presidents, they're still present.
Okay.
I will tell you that one cold day when I was there, they were not on site, but nobody was in the park. So park safety is definitely on NYPD's mind for all of the parks that are historically problematic. So they know about McCaffrey, they know about Matthews Pond, which has been relatively tame lately. And they also know about Gertrude Kelly. So so I think that we're all on the same page, and we are watching for the safety. I think the real question is, okay, we've gone through the winter. Now we need to just talk again about how we're going to go forward.
Yeah, because that time for things to get crazy is upon.
Is coming up. Yes. So yeah, I mean, yes. So yes, I agree with you. Yes, we should. Yes, thank you for reminding me to make those calls. I got to remember it is March. It is not still February. And it was wrong.
Thank you, sir.
That's good about the needle training.
Yes. Yeah, I'm very pleased about it.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about having to get the shot, but they give us a tetanus
Oh, yeah.
vaccination. So not happy about that.
Did they give you a lollipop?
No, they've never given me
It
a
makes you feel better.
no, I'm gonna tell you, they've never given me a lollipop, and I told them I'm gonna go to my own physician, where they know that I'm a really big baby about needles and they will take care of me.
Whenever I get one of those shots, I ask for a Garfield bandage, and they always look at me as you effing crazy. We don't have those.
Very specific.
Garfield, yeah.
It's a very specific Band-Aid though.
Well, I mean, I'll take any cartoon bandage, but they don't have them even.
Thank you, Tom.
Very good. And I'm gonna leave. Everyone.
So
Yes.
next month you'll start with the follow-ups.
Yes, hirings, all that information, yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You sure you don't want to stay for the rest of the day? I'm kidding, no pressure.
No,
sure.
no.
No, you're not.
No, come back next
No.
time. How's that?
Next time we'll hold that.
Well, yeah, good. That's fine.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tom.
The next item on the agenda is a letter that my colleague wrote, and I think did a fabulous job capturing the conversation that we had here last month. But she may have missed something. What did she miss?
I'm sure I missed a lot.
No, I'd be surprised.
So this was obviously what this is, I keep saying it's our last letter in the trilogy of letters on this of, the master plan in EDC. So they are, hopefully this spring, they said this spring, they're gonna come out with a master plan. So these will be our official contributions or suggestions for that master plan. So, I tried to synthesize everything that we talked about, not only in our last meeting, but what we have talked about as kind of like our staples, you know, throughout our months and meetings in general. If there's anything I missed, oh, and also Christine, and Transportation Committee, contributed a few things, which was very helpful. And we incorporated that as well. But if you see anything or, if I'm missing something or remember, or if there's language that you just want changed or anything like that,
It's
yeah. Please.
inclusions, exclusions.
We just didn't want to do it last. We thought, I guess collectively, that last meeting, we didn't want to kind of vote on it only because it's so hard to see it, unless, you know, to like put it all together in your head. If you see it in a letter, then you'd be like, oh, check. check, that's right, you know. And then he was like, wait, didn't we miss that? So this might be a little easier, at least for a big letter like this, or a hefty letter.
My one thing, and I did Google it as well, line 27,
Oh, wait, hold on, yeah.
obnubulate.
So
I Googled
There was a
it, too.
couple words I had to Google as well.
Big words.
No, so
I'll be it.
I'm gonna let you know a little secret. He's gonna kill me. So Paul Devlin and I have like a little thing, and I have to put in a vocabulary word in my letter that he doesn't know, and then. Cause he's like, you're the writer, come up with like some good words. That was the word. That was the word of the thing.
So it wasn't AI,
What?
it wasn't AI,
AI.
artificial intelligence.
Oh, no.
No,
thanks.
no,
Thank you.
I think we should keep it. I mean, I'll have to look it up too. And I don't remember the word, not having the letter in my hand.
Yeah, just.
Thank you for that, Katie. I had
It
to
will
look it up
not
as well.
become
I was
one of
like,
my
what the
daily
hell is
words.
this word?
That's fine.
I thought it was misspelling, you meant to say.
I did somebody in the Googled it and it wasn't. She was more careful than that.
Yeah. Obnubulated, oh,
No.
I'm impressed.
I think it's funny,
I mean, it fits, it's just, you know, but it means to obscure or to cloud.
which
Yeah,
is
that was
interesting
kind of
because the word itself is obscure.
That means that.
I can't help that, Marty, if I can't. I
I'm
had to dig deep for some of these and.
I'm praising you and enjoying it. I mean, come on.
My pocket thesaurus of writing.
So I have a couple of comments.
Yes, please.
The, with admiration that the obnubulate is actually a word, not a misspelling. Like you said, Marty, it's a very good letter. However, there are a couple of things that I want to point out. First, the small stuff.
Yeah.
There were a lot of misspellings.
Oh, I'm sure.
Misspellings, typos and things like that.
I'm sure, yeah.
I don't know if you want me to point it out, time to,
Not here, but you can tell me, yeah, this was my draft, I just,
okay,
Yeah.
so I'll, in terms of the small stuff.
Send it to me.
Okay,
I'm sure there's a lot. It was,
Yeah.
I shouldn't be, I should have double checked.
yeah, the other stuff, is. There's one part, line number.
It's in the draft.
Line number 44,
Yes,
where you said the removal and total revamp of a ghastly vehicular access ramps must be a principal element. I'm not sure if we can dictate must, perhaps the word should be, a
sure.
little bit more diplomatic, rather than must be. I think it's more in advisory capacity than telling that it must be this way.
Sure. If you, yeah,
Number 44.
yeah.
Line 44.
I don't mind being strong with them at this point, that, you know, what we want is what we want, but I understand the sentiment.
The same in line 51, where you say, we expect the EDC work with the state to widen. Again, I find that a little bit too strong, perhaps the correct term should be request that the EDC work with the state.
Yeah, I think that one, I think expect is the one we use a lot.
Really?
Yeah, like we expect this to happen, or we would hope for this to happen, or we expect, yeah, I mean, that doesn't bother me
I
as
find it a
much.
little strong, you know, I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, and then, lines 94 through 97. 94, you suggest the use of parking, automated parking, and on 96, you say, how about exploring off-site long-term parking?
Yes,
I think Brad and I were very vocal about, how about no parking at all? And just have long-term parking.
yeah,
It doesn't, those lines 94 through 97 does not communicate that at all. Just no parking whatsoever.
yeah. So I don't know, I'm not in agreement with that as far as no parking whatsoever, so I don't know if that's gonna be a full, and this is these are Christine's words from transportation.
Okay,
So I can talk with her. I think we talked to EDC, there's gonna be parking. There's gonna be some, there's gonna be parking, it's a slight economic engine for them, engine is probably too strong of a word. And there are people that. Revenue, yeah, there are people that come from Pennsylvania, there are people that come from Massachusetts, there are people, and they drive, and then they park, so. We want to lessen that parking, as we say, or use that space with solar panels, or do something more. They said they're gonna have parking, but we also would like them, if they do lessen the parking spaces, can they examine I would say offshore, off-site parking garages? Or some sort of, and it's external parking.
Right.
But I don't feel comfortable, I think we wouldn't be taken serious, not that we wouldn't be taken seriously, not that it really would matter, we can say whatever we wanted. If we say eliminate all parking, it's like an airport, you know, it's like, it's like an airport, there's gonna be some parking, because people are gonna wanna go to their ship and with their luggage and their family. And if they wanna pay the fee for 7 days there at the lot, then that's what they do.
All right, speaking of,
But I can talk to Christine further about that.
all right, so you said, so if there is gonna be parking, then, I had suggested in the last meeting that take all that space and put solar panels on there. Hundreds of solar panels can fit there in that parking lot.
It's on there, it's in there.
I didn't quite see it as strongly as I was hoping, because one of the things about the letter that I found a little weak was that it doesn't talk about the importance of interim shore power. It was kind of weak in that area, so that would be pages, lines.
Wait, let me just get to let me find the solar first, because I think I mentioned it twice. We did solar panels over, you know, whatever the top floor is, we don't know what it is yet, it could be parking like it is now, it could be a park. It could be something, we don't know, because they're still designing it, but we said that we wanted. I'm sorry.
But the idea.
It's line 78.
The idea of the solar panels is not just for solar panels' sake, but for the sake of
Thank you,
having those solar panels be the source of energy
oh, I see,
to do the interim solar power. If you determine into a request for them to do a study, whether that would work. Because if those 3 parking lots, which are immense, would stay, you can install hundreds of solar panels, you can generate a lot of power.
Right, I think you need interim shore power.
To feed the
Yeah.
interim shore power, so that we're not dependent on Con Edison or, you know, just independent, you can generate a lot of power from that.
Yes.
If we're gonna keep those 3, if they're gonna keep those 3 parking spots.
I'll put it in its own paragraph. To look at that, that's a good, yes,
And I don't know, maybe we could question whether that solar power could, even if it can't satisfy all of the electricity to one of the ships, say, could complement the running of the diesel engines on the ships, so that could at least be reduced in the interim before we get permanent shore power.
So we
I'm not a solar engineer,
reduce,
so I don't know how much power the solar panels. But I was involved in a consulting job just recently where we installed a couple hundred panels, and we were able to run a small hospital with it. From a couple of hundred panels shop, that it produced that much power.
that's great,
Um,
Changed a lot over the years.
yeah, stronger and.
Yeah,
There's
in the last few
Yeah.
years.
Their life is now 30 years as well, they produce a lot of power, so, and I almost suspect that out of those 3 parking lots, you can install not hundreds, perhaps 1,000 or 1,500 panels, which is a lot of power. So I would like to see the letter say, as, you know, for interim purposes, let's explore solar panels as a way to feed the interim,
Yes,
shore power.
There also is a company in Brooklyn, and I don't know the name of it, but I can find out. that apparently does a lot of solar
Is
installation.
it Brooklyn Solar Works?
Yeah.
Could be, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's a matter of just hiring a
Yes.
company to do the study, but better than nothing.
I will put that in, its own paragraph, I think that's good, under sustainability. Is that, yeah, okay.
Or solar power.
Or solar power,
I mean,
sustainability.
short power.
Keep going.
Because the the interim part of it, I didn't hear enough, didn't read enough about the importance of the interim shore power.
So interim shore power, we talked about this, we're not getting,
Ah,
no.
Oh, I don't think we did.
Yeah, we talked about, remember we talked to Con Ed? Marty, you were on that call, and we updated last meeting that we went to Con Ed and we asked for interim shore power, and they said it would actually be more expensive to set up interim shore power. You mean before the master plan? They said it would actually be more expensive to put that in than permanent shore power, the permanent
So
lines.
good, let's put.
What we're hoping,
Yeah,
what we're hoping to get from the conversation that Leslie's referring to is that Con Edison and, the cruise terminals begin the infrastructure that's necessary from 11th Avenue to 12th Avenue without waiting for the master plan to be fully developed. That I don't see why we can't get.
right,
If they didn't say no
Interim
to
shore
that,
power,
they
we're
did.
not getting.
Did they say no to that?
no, we're still pushing.
They
that.
said, they
Who, Con Ed
sort
or EDC?
EDC sort of said no to that here. Con Edison said, we're not gonna do it unless EDC signs documents, committing themselves to paying for it. And I don't give a shit about that, frankly. I just want them to do it. And so
Yeah, Con Ed said it was
that's
possible. But yeah, we did last month, I remember, I said that, you know, they said interim shore power wouldn't be feasible, you really shouldn't go down that road, it's just not, it would be more expensive. Remember, and then Brad said, what do we care about the money? It's not a. Brad, can you hear me?
right, but that.
I can hear.
Right, do you remember that, like, the interim shore power?
That they were on the one hand for interim and then rebuild it
Yeah.
for permanent.
It's,
But what we're suggesting and what the letter suggests is that you start building the wires that go down the various streets from 11th Avenue to 12th Avenue. There's no reason not to do that soon.
But that's still on the table.
yes, that's what we've been saying that for a long time, you don't need to have a full master plan, a full design.
Parallel.
It has to go anyway, you're gonna need the power anyway to get to a certain point, and then the second phase
Right.
might be more detailed of where those connectivity points are. But we've been talking about it, I think.
I also will check in, for those who don't know me, hi, I'm Hal Runner from Councilmember Fletcher's office. Want to say we are fully on board with that, trying to build shore power as soon as possible, starting the work now. You know, we're pushing the EDC or kind of try to get that done, and we very much would love as, you know, much support on that as humanly possible, because we do think it'd be a great idea. So
And terra firma work.
if that's the phrase for it, yes.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, as much, you know, getting started on building shore
Yes.
power ahead of everyone.
What do you need from us in order to support that?
Honestly, you know, all up to you, but what you're doing.
You've done a million letters on
Yes,
that specific thing,
This
it
is
says very
actually-
specifically,
exactly.
terra firma work should go regardless of what the eventual final Manhattan Cruise Terminal plan
And it's
is.
here.
And it's here again, we've said it like literally maybe a dozen times.
Our goal is to just keep saying it, keep
Yeah.
hammering it, and so I just wanna say, we're very happy that you're all moving that too, because it makes good sense.
Yeah,
So we're saying it again.
But to be clear, as far as CDC, Con Ed and EDC are, they are not going to do interim shore power.
I don't think-
That's their position.
yeah, I don't, look, not that they, yes,
It's
But
not
not
so
because
much
they
their
don't-
position as they're saying that would be much, that would be a double payment for shore power.
and not as effective, it just wouldn't be, it wouldn't be a smart business decision, it wouldn't be a smart environmental decision, it's just.
So that relegates shore power then to 10 years.
Yeah, but the interim is, would also, like, you have to do the same thing, you have to get the electricity there.
So I guess the
it's
work to
not-
get an interim solution is so tedious and large that you might as well wait for the permanent solution.
Yeah, instead
That's a
of
great way
three,
to put it.
yeah, they're gonna have to have the same 1, 2, 3, 4 steps anyway.
Yeah, but no matter what they do, they have to get power to,
The west side highway, correct. Regardless.
There's no reason for them not to get power to 12th Avenue.
I mean, they could sign the.
yeah, and they have to locate another substation and all of that. That's a lot of process.
Well, they have to build circuit breakers, I don't remember the correct language, that they would put in the middle of 12th Avenue as the starting point for the piers, and as the end point for Con Edison's bringing the electricity.
So that they
from
can cut off the
12th
pier
Avenue.
if they need to.
It's like a plug on the wall that they have to build anywhere, and its location isn't that relevant to the construction of whatever they do on the piers.
It's a substation, I think you mean that.
It's not even a substation yet, it's it was a safety switch.
I also think it was they had to do smaller, we would say substation, small, like not huge, and they have to place them on the piers. So the power can go to the west side, to 12th Ave, the west side highway. But then there does need to be some sort of plan of where those substations are to then further spider this power or these lines out. But like we said, from 11 to 12, it doesn't matter. Once we hit 12, and so that work they told us, kind of said would be about a year. Just from 11 to 12 would be about a year. So that's why we're saying, okay, do it now, a year, I mean, then let's start now, and that's what we're talking to
It was worse.
Eric Botcher's office about, and others, and Brad.
Check me on this, I think it was worse than a year. They said the planning would be a year and then the construction would be a little longer.
Oh, was it?
From 11th to 12th Avenue, which is why I feel an urgency for them to start that planning.
Yeah. So it's all EDC to just like literally sign a contract that we want you to start this kind of.
And they're not likely to be happy to sign a contract at this point. But
Well, it's gonna cost them.
that's neither here nor there.
So the solar idea might be the only
But the solar,
possibility for getting it faster, that sounds like.
but to do the solar, they would have to construct the piers. Reconstruct the piers.
But I think Roll's right.
Why would they have to, they just go out of the parking lot for right there?
I think we
That
have,
sounds like a good idea.
I don't, it doesn't hurt, we have to ask them.
That's it. No reason why.
I think so. Yeah,
For them to hire a solar.
I mean, even if it doesn't happen, that solar panels replace or not replace or subsidize shore power, at least you get solar panels to charge the terminals, right? Or the parking lot, whatever, there's a lot of power, there's not the ships, there's a lot of power need that's going to be on those piers.
Other comments, criticisms,
Well-
additions, subtractions to the letter.
Are you general?
Yes, I know.
Even if it's not done.
Well, but actually, the last part, sorry. When you have the photos,
Yeah,
the 3 photos, you have marked A, B, and C.
yeah, they're not, this is just, they're not marked properly.
Right, I was gonna suggest
Yeah.
that maybe you should add,
Caption?
caption, why.
Location.
Yeah,
Pictures that. I know you mentioned it in the body of the letter, but then to go back and say, well, what's A about, the caption under each,
Even in the letter, you can put locations if you have.
what do you mean, this is locations for what, like,
We're almost.
oh no, this is not, these are just design elements around the world, I
but
don't
a
know.
caption to explain what the picture is about. What is-
Oh, okay,
You mentioned in the body.
like possible, yeah, like possible open
This
space.
is Oslo, this is Amsterdam, this is.
So this is, just so full disclosure, these pictures came from their EDC's presentation.
So they look like CGI rendering, like they're
Yeah.
computer
I
rendering,
think
they're not
computer
photos.
renders, yeah.
Cause it looks like it was of the site.
I know definitely C is.
Yeah, so these are just renderings. They're not actual real
They're
structures.
not even locations.
Yeah, but this is what they were offering as illustrations of examples. This could happen, do you want this? This could happen. So we said, yeah, sure, I just took it from them. Because if they're saying it, then they have to,
Yeah,
be able to have it as an option. But yes, I'll do like a little description, maybe, like a description underneath.
That'd be helpful.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Well, included. So.
There have to be more.
With the silence that I'm hearing, except for the typos that you referred to, which you share, and maybe you have typos somewhere too.
Yeah, just send them to me.
I would like to have a motion that this is the letter that comes out of the committees, so.
Wait, before you do that, Janine, is there anyone in the public or there, or Ella or Brad, would you like to comment at all?
There's no one in the,
I'm good, Chair. Thank you.
I'm good too.
Thanks, Ella. No one in public, Janine?
No, nobody in the public.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
I'll make the motion to have this letter.
Yeah, it's a well done letter.
Motion's, seconded and given and seconded, and all in favor? All opposed? I don't see anybody opposed. I don't see anybody present, not eligible. I don't see anybody abstaining. Same thing with you folks online. I don't see you indicating anything but approval. It's unanimous.
Nice job.
Thank you. You did a nice job on that.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Again, if something comes to mind, really email me like, oh, we forgot about this crosswalk. I don't know. Like, there really could be something you're walking by and maybe we should have, and I'll put it in.
But this one's going to the full board.
This one will be, yes, this is the full board.
And
They're probably sick of these letters. I mean, how many, they'll be like, oh, God,
I
WPE.
actually
Another
appreciate the
one,
fact-
another one?
It's a way to have them stop something.
Yes, right, yeah.
Do it.
Right.
I have to say, I appreciate the process that you, the committee, went through, because we had a long discussion about this
Yeah.
last month, which dissolved into Leslie writing
I took all the
a
notes.
letter from the notes to come back for approval this month. I think that worked very well for us, and thank you for that.
Yes, that is good.
Do we have anything else on the agenda? other
Yes.
than Old business, new business?
No, just old business, new business. No, I have a few, I know, can you believe it? It's 7:15. I do have, some new business. The first
You
thing,
would have.
I know.
We want to leave.
So the first thing, there's gonna be, Katie and I actually were talking about this before the meeting. There's been talk about an overpass over Route 9A from, Hudson Yards. Cause it's elevated to the Hudson River Park. It's always been kind of thrown around. They should do an elevated, it's already elevated. They should do a footbridge over 9A. There's already a natural elevation when it develops.
About 33rd Street.
Yeah, I think that's it. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because there is going to be, I think it's Syracuse and Columbia universities. Planning professors from Columbia and Syracuse universities are hosting a design charrette focused on connectivity, which is like their students, they're gonna study it, they're gonna come up with a plan. I can't make it. CB4 is welcome, and Jesse said that we can officially, I don't know, officially participate, but we could proceed. So I wanted to throw it out. If anyone wanted to rep WPE on that, that would be great. I can give you the date. It's going to be March 24th. And I think it's close by, space. Okay. The charrette will be held at Syracuse University's Fisher Center, at 19 East 31st Street. So it's not too close by, but not too far either. That's a good question. He doesn't have the time here, but we can find out. 4 PM. I lied. Below he has the time. 4 PM, 19 East 31st Street. So the invited guests are gonna provide a 5-minute overview of their perspective, the importance of opportunities for connectivity. They're gonna be smaller working groups with the professors, the students, and the guests. And then the working group will present their ideas. So if anyone here wants to, I would love to go. I'm leaving the country on Saturday, so I won't be here, but,
Where you going?
Morocco. Ooh, excited. But if anyone wants to rep WPE, that would be great.
I can do that for
Would you
you.
wanna do that? That would be great, because you would be good at that.
Brad has his hand up.
Oh. Brad,
Yes,
hi.
Chair, are they gonna present back to the board?
Yeah, that's what so it's, I don't know if you know Tom Fox, he's also a member of Hudson River Park Trust Advisory Board, he came to me with this and asked if we would participate, and I said I thought it would be a good idea if they would present to WPE their findings at the end of this, is this what you were kind of getting at also?
Yes, and also they should look at why the overpass going to the Intrepid never is used. And there's no activity on it. So it's an interesting, they built that thing and it's never used.
Yep,
And if they're actually gonna look at this, they should look at the connection from the cruise terminal over as well. I'm just throwing it out there.
to do with Clinton, right, as we say in our letter.
I'm just guessing, but the difference between the Intrepid footpath over the highway is you gotta climb stairs to get up to it and you gotta climb stairs down. And the vision of this overpass is it starts from a high place already.
Yeah, but Marty, does it start from the High Line? Because when we met with them, there was that big gap from their
Yes.
park, and then there's that big gap. And then we said, should you connect to the High Line? I don't know if the High Line really liked that idea. I mean, this is a study, so I'd love to see what their ideas are. I'm sure we have our thoughts, but one is failing because it was designed poorly. So it's just something they should look at. And I think they should look at the cruise terminal as well.
The cruise terminal honestly might be a more simple study because everything related to this is incredibly tied into related and their casino plan. How are you gonna, how will the?
This is the way I hear it is.
Syracuse University,
Yeah.
whatever they wanna do, they could do, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I mean, I can mention it definitely.
But it'll be interesting to see if related is involved.
Yeah.
in
I'll
this.
let you know, Katie.
You know, the High Line, at one time was looking
Yeah,
at having a connection to the kind of back porch of Javits. And if you look at the west elevation of Javits, where the stairs come up symmetrically, that landing originally was supposed to have a bridge across through the Hudson River Park. So maybe that's a planned connection.
yeah.
I mean, the way the chair presented it was they're studying the connectivity from the west side to the park. So we have multiple points if they're willing to look at it. So
Yeah, and I think so it's gonna be in that area though, he
The
says
Hudson
here.
Yards area.
But yes, the Hudson River Park, the High Line and the Convention Center, it is, so it's probably that same point, is what they're studying.
Right, and if the casino site ends up adding on the block to the north, that's a location where they could go across the highway
Yeah.
without conflicting with the High Line.
Do you wanna go rep us, David?
and David,
Yeah.
remember, we asked for that road to be a park and they should go underneath.
So.
They don't need
Candace,
a
you
private
got all these
road.
notes?
They're getting
You
enough.
can. All right, Candace is gonna rep us, there, so she can forward our thoughts. But it'll be interesting, I think when they come.
No pressure.
No pressure, no pressure.
When they come back, well, we will ask them to present, Brad, and I think when they present, I think actually they'll like the students would like to be a good opportunity. But I think when they do present, we can definitely bring up all this stuff and also the other points. And I'll bring up the other points to Tom previous to their charrette, but. It'll help food talk in the meeting too. I think that's
New business.
it, yeah, I'm just looking. Oh, do we want to, we're talking about DOT, so I know we talked about this last meeting. Do we want to send just a letter to DOT, 2 paragraphs? Why aren't you looking at, why do you not have solar? lighting in your portfolio, because Parks uses,
Yeah.
everyone really, but Parks uses your lighting, DOT. I mean, I could talk to Christine about getting clearance to have a letter through to DOT, but this is really just through lighting and just asking why they don't have any solar, or do they plan on having solar in their portfolio?
hurt to have a.
Yeah, and if you put it as a sustainability perspective.
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
literally 2, 3 paragraphs.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want this, why don't you have it, or are you, maybe you are working at having it.
I think for a letter like what you're suggesting, we should wait for Paul's report on those lights.
Well, that's not DOT.
I know, but it's a report on. What I expect to hear from him is that these lights work very well. And so we could use that information to say to DOT, why aren't you doing it?
Parks can do it, why can't you do it?
Yeah, but I do think we don't need park. I mean, they're being used all over the world. They're, you know, it's not that we need that New York City parks to kind of use them. Other parks are using them already. In fact, I don't know if we're doing it next month, it might be the month after, that, Renato is gonna come, and I know they have. Brad, remember we were talking about this, Renato is trying to put looking to putting solar lights at Pier 94. So they might put up on that, so it's being used, it's just that why is the city not kind of jumping on it? I don't think it's a letter that's controversial, it's just like really asking them, hey, can we hear your opinions on why you're not doing this? Or if you are, just tell us you are looking into it.
But to Marty's point, I got the impression from Paul that it is he kept saying the agency, I think referring to both parks and transportation doing this experiment.
No, just parks.
I heard just.
I asked him, point blank.
Yeah.
I said DOT's like, no, this is all parks.
Oh, okay, so I misunderstood that.
Yeah, and it sounds like he said that since right now DOT does the lighting in parks, if parks wanted to do solar lighting or do any type of lighting that's not part of DOT's portfolio, then parks is responsible for that lighting instead of DOT. So that the question is then, you know, DOT is a much larger, better funded agency than parks, so why isn't DOT looking into solar lighting?
This is what they
From
do,
a sustainability perspective of having, you know, better options and all
Yeah.
that.
I see Brad. Brad, before you go, I see your hand is up. I can't believe you did not mention that I put in drones. And drone
Leslie, I'm sorry.
drone activity on the, it's a letter.
I was on a multiple Zoom call. I apologize for my daughters. So I was reading you guys and I was listening to the coach. Real quick. So I think our board has pressured the Parks Department, and Steve decided to do something. And I respect that they're trying, because that's a big responsibility and a lot of money. But I like the fact that they're at least trying something. But I don't think we should send anything to DOT. I think we should send to Brad Holloman and to, I would send it to Brad because they're state roads, right? Isn't that part of the state system? To say,
No.
what are we doing in our parks? Because we can still
No,
send everything
I
to
think
DOT, but I'd rather move it up the ladder a little bit.
So I agree with you, we can move up the ladder. I think DOT handles lights for all of New York. Whether it's in a park, whether it's on a sidewalk, whether it's along a street, it doesn't have to be on a state highway or anything.
All public lights.
It's all public, yeah, all public land lights are DOT. So if you're going inland to Chelsea Park, those lights are provided and installed, I believe, by DOT.
Yes.
So Brad, we want to know, that's why when we went to parks and saying, hey, at like McCaffrey, why don't you put solar, whatever, you know, wherever, solar lights? And they said, well, we don't do lights. DOT does all the lights. But I think we do write a letter to DOT, and we can certainly CC Eric and everyone else and whoever, you know, citywide, city.
Yeah, and I don't want to just get a CC from Eric. I see that he has his rep in the room, and that's great that he's there in person. We greatly appreciate it. Maybe they could go back and find out what's going on. We've been talking about this for years, and I find it hard to believe any of our elected officials don't want to have some green energy. And maybe they could. Yeah,
Right?
I I agree, but I would love to hear them get some pre-response because I
Yeah.
know he cares.
Yeah, Candace.
So, I just went on the street design website on their portfolio for DOT, and it says they are testing solar powered lighting at select locations in flood prone areas. So they do have it in their
Great.
manual, like, so.
Yeah, so we should,
Yeah. just-
yeah.
The
It's in there.
entire new East Side Park is all solar lights.
Oh, okay, so then,
Yeah.
Just
so
all
they
you
have
gotta
it-
do is
they
go
have
over
it in
there,
their
you see them,
portfolio.
they're all being installed. It's ridiculous. They're everywhere.
yeah, so why don't we just ask them?
Yeah,
And stroke, I mean, if it's pointed out, then stroke it will, great to see the.
Yeah, right.
The plan.
Yeah,
Can
and
we
we,
get it
and we
over here now?
CC, and we also CC Parks. So they see that there's, so there are, because he said there weren't any in the inventory, maybe it is pilot, so maybe it's not officially in the inventory, but we can.
It's on the website.
But we could flush it out with a, I think, with a
At
request.
this
Just
point,
ask them.
maybe the CB4 could do a fundraiser to buy one light. That's ridiculous. I could
What a
stop buying
great
donuts.
idea.
I'd stop buying donuts for a month.
Brad, if you sell the Girl Scout cookies out front, or whatever cookies we
No
sell,
problem.
raise your level.
You're gonna be the impresario on the fundraiser.
Well, that's a big word. You use it, you're mocking my words. All right, can anyone give me can someone just
Yes.
give me a motion on a letter?
Wait, I have one more. I have my hand raised.
Oh, sorry, go Brad.
Did you guys see the New York Times article about the Penn Station?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the
There's been
grand
a couple lately.
Oh, the one about,
plan about moving Penn Station,
Yeah.
moving
Yes.
MSG across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then kind of
Yes.
creating like
yes,
a replica
And
of the
then-
original facade.
And what I
Yes.
liked
So
about
wait,
it,
is this a movement away from solar
No,
lights?
it's not Tony.
it's,
another one.
it's, the reason I bring it up is because they want to talk about a Bryant Park sized park, which is
Yes, I
pretty
saw that.
incredible.
They both.
yeah, cause, yes, that would be unbelievable, because they've been trying forever to get MSG to move.
Not anything with.
And they keep saying they're not moving,
Do
they're not moving. Do you have any update on that? Do you know what's going on with that plan? Some Eric Botcher's office.
I likes the idea, but no specific updates on that, so. This is just I'm a huge park nerd, I heard all these, but I was excited to be at the Parks meeting.
Good,
I
we
will
like
say
that.
on a slight parks related thing, the plot. Is the size of the Bryant Park one, not the size of all of Bryant Park with the like.
Right.
Asterisk.
So you're like, working in terms of.
The green part.
Conceptualizing it.
Yeah, no, that's good.
And though, just to clarify, there are two plans that were recently discussed about the Penn area. So you have the plan that
Yes,
Tony put out more about the Penn district.
yes, with the
And the
housing
building.
and the building.
And then you have this
This is
other
the
The
thing.
train, specific
specifically about the
transportation,
station.
specific,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is being proposed by Alec Washburn. And it would involve moving Madison Square Garden
Yes.
to the vacated site of the Hotel Pennsylvania. Plus the buildings across the street to the north, which would need to be acquired and put together.
Which would be, but and listen, we can talk about this offline,
Yes,
but I
and
mean,
then-
moving MSG would be amazing.
Thanks to
Yeah.
Eric Botcher having insisted on no more than a 5-year lease. Maybe that'll give them some incentive.
So I want to bring you back to the.
Thank you, Brad.
DOT letter.
Make a motion for it.
Second, anyone second? Great,
All in favor,
okay.
all opposed,
Anyone like-
of the other
Thank
categories,
you.
abstentions,
I'm looking at people.
present not eligible, folks online, any objections? Unanimous.
Okay. Ella, Brad, any parting thoughts before we adjourn?
Thank you
No?
all.
I was
Okay.
just wondering about the cruise ship money.
Yeah,
Maybe
we're
we could
still
buy a
with
light
Eric.
with that.
We're talking with Eric about that, the cruise ship money. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
I don't know much.
No
about the
updates.
Specific one. but-
yeah, all right.
If you could
We'll
say
get
to
on
the
that, bro.
representative from Mr. Botcher's office, though, do we have to get somebody do we have Doge to come down and find out where the money is? Because this is taking too long. It's not
Yeah.
right. Where's the money?
Can we call JG Wentworth? It's our money and we want it now.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's
All
not
right.
that we want it now. We want to know where it is because we were promised it. We on this
Yeah.
board cut this deal for the city and made it happen, and now it disappeared. And the last time we were told it was going for maritime training. I mean, where's the money? And we
Yeah,
get no
I think,
answer.
remember, I think we made a stink about the maritime training part, and I think Eric's office, agreed with us on that part, and so I think they're trying to settle that.
And by the way, just as you know, we are meeting with EDC or trying to meet with EDC soon about this, and you definitely bring that up.
Great. We'll talk offline too.
And it will not be Doge related, we're not gonna test the base cruise ships.
I would just like an actual response where it's at or what's the status for the next meeting, please.
Yeah, I'm with you. Guys, just one more thing, I'm sorry, I won't be here in April, not that it's a big deal, so Marty, you'll handle April. I have a school event, so whatever's there, just FYI, but email me anything, or both of us, if you have something that you want to put on the agenda. And then we can schedule it, actually, that goes for any month, if there's something you really want on the agenda, let us know, and then we'll talk to June and she'll. Okay, any motion to adjourn?
Do we know what's happening with the old tow pound? Any word from Hudson River Park Trust?
Frank, you missed the motion.
Wait, what?
I'm just curious. You know, we had all these meetings, zoning, state. The parking's just still sitting there. Have they come back with a design? Like, what's happening with the Hudson River Park Trust?
Are you talking about Pier 76?
Yeah, the old tow pound.
Yeah, they're trying to get funding in two ways, selling some of their development rights and then just regular funding. So I think when we sent that letter and then it was passed last year about they were allowing it for greater uses, specifically certain commercial uses, helped a lot for them to plan. But now I think they're in the figure out where a lot of the money is gonna come from, the starting money. But yeah, that'd be great to get that design process going too. Sooner rather than later.
Unless anybody has
Make a
anything.
motion,
No, it's done. We're adjourned.
No, wait, yeah,
return now.
yes. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks, Ella.
Will you send me
Thanks,
that?
Brad.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Marty.
I'm sorry it wasn't
Bye.
7:15.
Hi, guys. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.